September 17th on Fox.
They kill without remorse. They rape and they laugh about it. They are America's children, kids without a conscience.
My name is Antoine Earl. My wife number 53654. And I'm here for murder, serious crime.
What are you trying to do to your brother?
Kill him.
I wanted to do my own thing, you know? Who cares what everybody else thinks?
We are going to see more psychopaths than ever before in the history of America.
From the high-powered politician to the elusive geisha, women are stepping forward into the glare of public office and private scandal. The battle between the sexes in Japan.
I cut my own flesh to grind Mr. Uno to the bone.
She said that she was treated like a just sex machine.
Greasy, fat, middle-aged woman. How she can be geisha?
Good evening, and welcome to The Reporters. My guest report on Japanese women a little later. We'll also show some amazing battle footage from that black day 50 years ago when Germany invaded Poland to trigger World War II. And Steve Dunleavy releases part of his newsmaking exclusive interview with Panama's General Noriega. All coming up after this break.
The Reporters is brought to you by Pepto-Bismol. For most common stomach discomforts, the one that coats is the only one you need.
You sure it was for 11?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think they'd keep you waiting for a thing like this. I should have phoned Harry before we left. Who knows how long this is going to take? I shouldn't have had so much to eat.
Oh, Mr. Miller, Ms. Petrie.
The one that coats is the only one you need.
Tone up your body with exercise. Tone up your skin with tone.
I'm toning up. I'm toning up from my head to my toes. I'm toning up. I'm toning up. Now my skin's gonna glow. I'm toning up. I'm toning up, looking good. I'm toning up.
Tone, the skincare bar with cocoa butter. It cleans, moisturizes, and conditions for healthy-looking skin.
I'm toning up. I'm toning up. Now my skin's gonna glow.
Tone up with Tone, now in cream color.
What do I know about carpentry? Hammer? Some. Want to know any more? Ask Ace. That's what I do.
A 60-yard roll of Ace duct tape is just $3.44. After rebate, Ace acrylic caulk really is a best buy.
Hey, Ace is the place for me. Let's bring on our next challenger.
I always had AT&T until I went on this game show. I won $300 worth of free phone calls from this other long-distance company. I'm all excited. And then they hook us up. Took longer to get through. I couldn't call all the places I could with AT&T. Some prize. Took trying somebody else to appreciate AT&T. At least we didn't have to pay to find out.
People who thought they could do better than AT&T are coming back for the real value. Aren't you glad you never left?
Sunday, spend Labor Day with the Bundys.
Not another family barbecue.
Yes, a family barbecue!
You won't believe the secret ingredient in Al's Burgers.
Let's cook.
It's the season premiere of Married with Children. Then, on Open House, $50,000 is missing. Who took it? Was it Ted or Linda?
You seem a little nervous, Linda. Kind of like someone who's laundered money.
Possible. I've never laundered anything in my life.
Open House, right after Married with Children, Sunday on Fox.
There is a new and terrifying wave of violence sweeping across America, and shockingly, it is our children creating the mayhem. Kids, some as young as 8 and 9 years old, are committing murder, rape, and assault, some of them just for the thrill of it. It is a growing and frightening phenomena. Kids schooled in the world of violence who promise to graduate as tomorrow's prison inmates.
We are going to see more psychopaths than ever before in the history of America. What are you trying to do to your brother?
Kill him.
They are a lost generation. Kids who appear to have no conscience. Kids who can take a life and walk away as though nothing ever happened.
Let him through, let him through.
They are kids like these 7 Harlem youths who shocked the city of New York after allegedly savagely beating and raping a woman jogger in Central Park and leaving her for dead.
What happened then?
Raymond had an arm, Steve had a leg. He spread it out. And Antoine got on top.
Cops at the lockup said the young hoods laughed about their crime and brought a new term to the American public, wilding, going out to have a good time by viciously attacking people and causing mayhem. That's just one horror story about America's youth. There are thousands more. From 1983 to 1987, murder by teenagers was up 22%. Aggravated assault, up 18%. Rape, up 14%. These kinds of vicious crimes committed by America's children have torn at the soul of the country. Here in New York City, people shocked to the core over the brutal Central Park wilding incident, the rape and assault of a young jogger, erected a small monument to express their disgust. But the questions remain. How can this happen? How can kids be so ruthlessly violent? How can they take a life, rape a girl, smash a face, and feel no remorse?
We're leaving the children to fend for themselves more and more. And the children are simply coming back at us and saying, this is what you did, this is what you're going to get.
Dr. Ken McGidd has been researching this phenomena of violent youth and has written a book called Children Without a Conscience.
He's a child filled with rage and deep, deep-seated memories about how he didn't get his cup filled with love.
I want to stab you!
6-year-old Beth was one of Dr. McGidd's patients. Now she's the subject of his upcoming documentary about children without a conscience.
Your mommy and daddy is done.
You're going to kill everybody? What this child said was basically that I wanted to kill them at night when they couldn't see me. Because they can't see me, but they can feel me do it.
Beth, who allegedly witnessed satanic rituals and was sexually abused by her father, was later adopted by a minister and his wife. But the deep-seated pain and fear she experienced as an infant haunts Beth, and now her new family.
Why do you want your brother to die?
Because I was hurt so bad, and I don't want to be around people.
Okay. Who else would you like to stick pins into?
Mommy and Daddy.
What would you like to have happen to them?
Die.
Beth is a danger to her adoptive parents and to her little brother. She has tried to kill her little brother repeatedly by drowning him, by pushing him off stairs, by sticking pins in him. And she was removed from the home and put into therapy.
Beth's therapists say they are optimistic the help she's now getting will one day enable her to lead a normal life.
I like you, Mommy.
But for others who have suffered devastating trauma in their young lives, it may already be too late.
My name is Antoine Irvin, my wife number 53654, and I'm here for murder, serious crime.
13-year-old Antoine Irvin is serving a life sentence for killing a man. But since he's a juvenile, a life sentence means he'll be released from the Northern California Youth Authority when he reaches the age of 25.
I'm doing time right now that I can't get back in my life to enjoy, you know what I'm saying?
Antoine grew up in this house in Compton, California, near Los Angeles. His father was killed in a drive-by shooting when Antoine was just 9 years old. He says his mother was never around, and Antoine drifted into a world of crime and violence.
Antoine, how old were you the first time you got in trouble with the law?
9.
What'd you do?
Grand theft auto.
What was the next thing you did?
Burglary.
Burglary? What'd you do, rob a house?
Yep.
What'd you rip off?
I got an AK-17 and a 9mm.
So you stole an assault rifle?
Yep.
The AK-17? Did you ever use it?
Nope.
What'd you do with it?
Sold it.
What's the next thing you got busted for?
Murder.
Murder, first degree?
Yep.
How old were you when you got busted for murder?
I was 12. I was 12. About 5 months. 12.
Antoine and a friend shot a man to death over a 6-pack of beer and just $3. Little kids as criminals, living by their own code of justice.
How would you feel if someone came into your house and ripped you off?
They break in my house, they ain't gonna make it out.
They ain't gonna make it out?
Nope.
You gonna blow them away?
Yep. They ain't had no right to break in my house.
Well, what right do you have to break in someone else's house?
I do when they ain't home.
They do, you do when they're at home. Well, what if they're home and you don't know it?
I just get shot.
Antoine's tragic story, like so many others, seems to stem from the pain of being neglected, abused, or left without a parent.
After my dad died, I just started messing up. Didn't start listening to nobody. Listen to myself. Go by my own way.
Do you miss your dad a lot, Antoine?
Oh. It's business.
We tried to talk to Antoine's mother about her son. She originally agreed to an interview, but when one of our producers went to her house, she changed her mind.
You got me the bad time. I don't want to do it. I'm gonna go to bed. That's good.
What about your mom? Was she around for you?
I see her. Not like I want to, but you want to be there when I need it.
For Antoine and other troubled kids, this is the end result of their violence. Prison, a prison for kids. Every year, thousands upon thousands of America's children end up locked behind bars. For some, it will begin a lifetime of crime, courtrooms, and jail cells like this. For others, it may be the very last chance they have to finally get straight.
I'm kind of glad that I got locked up in here, you know, because, I've learned a lot. I've really learned a lot from it,
16-year-old Mario Aramula is serving a 2-year sentence for assault with a deadly weapon. Mario said he'd been taking speed for a week and plunged a knife into another kid.
At the time, I was just feeling, just feeling good, I was being me, and I know people tried to, tell me, to cool down on it, but it's like, I wanted to do my own thing, who cares what everybody else thinks, I did my own thing.
Evidently, Mario's own thing was violence. He was constantly getting arrested for fighting.
Just want to show him how big he was, how tough he was.
Mario's grandmother, Velma Irwin, says his problems stem from a broken family, like so many troubled kids.
I think it was a lot of anger. He didn't have a father. Other kids had dads. He didn't have one. And their life was kind of a messed up. They moved a lot, so he missed a lot of school. Then finally it was drugs.
But the thing that really pushed Mario over the edge was the death of his mother.
When I stabbed this kid, I had anger, built up inside me from when my mom passed away. I ended up, stabbing some kid over it,
Mario says he's going to straighten out his life when he gets out, but that will be tough. At 16, he's already a dad.
Here. Calm down. Calm down. Well, when I get out, after I get settled and everything, I'm going to try to get custody of her, after I get, my head together and do what I got to do so I can. So.
I mean, really, you're just a kid yourself, and you've got a kid. How are you going to take care of her?
I'm going to get a job, get my own place and everything that way.
Not all kids coming from broken homes walk the path of violence, but evidence shows they're at greater risk. With 1 in 4 kids living in a single-parent home and 2 million others suffering abuse and neglect every year, it's no wonder the number of troubled kids is growing.
You look good. You got your hair cut, didn't you?
Linnie Eakin and her 17-year-old son Tommy are well aware of the problems a broken home can cause.
Tommy, what are you in here for?
First-degree burglary.
Tommy's trouble with the law started at 15. He began drinking and breaking into homes.
The door was open, but the screen door was locked. So I opened the door. I cut it with my knife. I had a knife. I cut the door, stuck my hand through, and I opened it.
One summer night, totally drunk, Tommy and a friend robbed and terrorized an elderly couple at knife point in Bakersfield, California. That crime landed him in prison for 2 years.
I don't never know to this day. I still don't know why it ended up like that.
So have you thought what you're going to do when you get out?
But Tommy's mother thinks her son's anger towards his father is what caused him to start drinking and drifting into a world of crime.
Do you think Tommy feels a lot of pain around basically being abandoned by his dad?
I think so, because he talk, you know, every time I go see him, that's the first thing he brings up, is why hasn't my dad come and seen me? Or, you know, why doesn't he take my phone calls? And I really think, I think it bothers him a lot.
There's a lot of walking wounded out there.
Dr. Austin Hurst, who counsels troubled youth in the San Francisco Bay Area, agrees. Dysfunctional families, abuse and neglect are the key ingredients for violent kids. He also thinks violence in film and music play a big role.
Megadeth, Death Angel, these are the names of these heavy metal groups, and they were talking death and violence. It is very dangerous for the vulnerable kids.
From music to video games, to the big screen.
I hate you! I hate you!
Violence is everywhere. By the time a kid reaches the age of 16, he will see 200,000 acts of violence, including 33,000 murders. Some kids, saturated with violent scenes, have a difficult time distinguishing between what is real and what is unreal.
The little kids, when they see that stuff, they think, they go out and they get a gun, somebody shoots somebody on TV, next time they see them, they're alive. They go out and get a gun and play guns with their little friends and end up killing them, and wondering why he didn't get back up.
Violent images, violent parents, violent neighborhoods. It's no wonder kids like Antoine are predicting the end of the world.
Everybody killing each other. This world gonna end. Watch. It is. I can feel it.
It's heartbreaking to see the faces of children locked behind bars. The kids locked inside these cells are America's children. They are our future. Somehow, some way, we have to find a way to help them before their rage lashes out and hurts more of us. If nothing is done to help the violent kids of today, they will, without a doubt, become the hardcore convicts of tomorrow.
Coming up, an exclusive interview with a geisha who toppled Japan's Prime Minister.
I spoke out because I felt I must.
She's 100% prostitute.
Raise your hand. You got it. Raise your hand. You know it. You feel confident, secure.
You've got it. That Sure, secure, confident feeling. Because Sure's double-action formula fights wetness while it kills bacteria that cause odor. Be sure of both odor and wetness protection. Get Sure.
Confident, confident, try and secure. Raise your hand. Raise your hand if you're sure. Raise your hand. Raise your hand if you're sure.
Extra, extra! Kentucky Fried Chicken introduces new extra tasty crispy. Millions cross the road to try it. Dateline, Duluth. Man devours 47 pieces, asks for more. Through and through flavor captivates the country.
Tastier. Great chicken.
Extraordinary.
Only Kentucky Fried Chicken has it, and the demand is astounding. Extra, extra, new extra tasty crispy. It's a whole new reason to cross the road to Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Aren't most mouthwashes the same? They just freshen breath.
Wrong. Listermint with fluoride strengthens your teeth, too.
Hey, I don't need fluoride. My teeth are strong enough.
Wrong. Not in areas between teeth where your toothbrush can't reach. You need Listermint with fluoride. Listermint penetrates the vulnerable enamel between teeth and rebuilds it to make teeth stronger.
Listermint will make me a better kisser.
Possibly, but it will definitely freshen breath and strengthen teeth. Listermint with fluoride.
That's right.
Too much styling stuff got your hair feeling kind of goopy? Well, here's a scoop. Get out the goop with new Bald Hold Shampoo. It's an ultimate clean, that's no lie. For excellent hair, just give it a try. New Bald Hold Shampoo.
Get ready for a new eye drop so refreshing you won't believe your eyes.
Wow.
Introducing new Visine Extra. An extra medication cools, soothes, moisturizes, and protects irritated eyes. New Visine Extra.
The Who.
It's incredible. It's the Who. They're like legends up there.
With special guests Bill Collins, Billy Idol, Elton John, Patti LaBelle, and Steve Winwood.
That was one of the best things I've ever seen. There's no doubt about it.
Coming Wednesday, September 13th to Fox. Tommy, The Who.
All roads lead to Auto Value, where selection, value, and service make us your home for automotive value. Be cool under fire. Get proven engine protection with Havoline Supreme Motor Oil. 10W30 or 10W40, only 88 cents a quart. Look for our special circular in your mailbox and stop by your neighborhood Auto Value store during our Labor Day sale. Auto Value, your home for automotive values.
Once the nation's top college rivalries were settled on the playing fields. Now they belong in the Madhouse, College Madhouse, the wild new show where America's student bodies compete in the craziest contests you've ever seen, where brains, brawn, and beauty add up to major fun, and school spirit goes about as far as it can go. It's TV's hottest new show, College Madhouse.
Starts September 9th at 5 on WCAY-TV, Channel 30, Fox Broadcasting for you.
A Japanese geisha girl breaks a code of silence countless times tougher than the mafias and brings down a prime minister in scandal. When that happens, you know that Japanese women are finally in revolt against one of the most male chauvinistic societies in the world. Who better to be our guest reporter than young Kristen Altman, who was brought up and educated in Japan, later graduating from an American university. Kristen has lived in the East and lived in the West. She knows the kind of deal women get in both societies.
For centuries, Japanese women have walked in the footsteps of their ancestors, staying 3 steps behind their men. Quiet, respectful, and demure, their purpose was to serve first their husbands, then their sons. But now that's changing. From the high-powered politicians to the elusive geisha, women are stepping forward into the glare of public office and private scandal. Come with me for a rare behind-the-scenes look at the battle of the century in Japan, the battle between the sexes, back into the world where I was raised. There's a fire burning in Japan, a fire that's being fanned by women. They're calling on the gods of change, and their chant is echoing across the nation. From the highest levels of government to the hidden confines of the geisha house, Japanese women are reaching for the power of the founding goddess of ancient Japan. Women like Mitsuko Nakanishi, the geisha whose bombshell allegations brought down a prime minister. Women like Takako Doi, the fiery socialist whose victory wrested power from the ruling party for the first time in more than 30 years. And these women who are holding corporate Japan hostage to their demands.
Rush hour is phone hour. No!
We are in a situation now in Japan where women are angry and men do not know the extent of our anger. This is a gap that gives rise to much tension.
The fire is flickering, and Tokyo's white-collar warriors are walking headlong into the flames. Women are speaking out against pornography, against sexism, against men. What's shocking is not what they're saying, but that they're saying it at all. From childhood, they're taught that silence is more powerful than words. Ask any Japanese man, and he'll tell you.
Usually, Japanese women never complain.
They don't complain at work, where 1 woman out of 3 is an office lady or office flower, whose job description includes smiling and pouring tea. Office lady videos show how to dress, stand, and walk. The rules are simple. Be polite, be passive, and always clean up after men. But when the office flowers head for home, their men head for the bars, where scantily clad hostesses provide service with a smile. It's the price of doing business in Japan. Scotch and sex go hand in hand with closing routine business deals. Japan has the biggest sex industry in the world, with all the pleasures that a working man's expense account can buy.
Is your wife at home right now?
Yes.
Is she a housewife or does she work?
Maybe their wives or maybe the housewives. I think, I'm not sure.
And when the bars and business deals are closed, the weary husbands stagger home and bark 3 words: Oi, meshi, furo, neru, food, bath, and bed. It's called gaman, being patient and accepting the way things are. And for housewives like Mrs. Tojo, it's a source of pride.
I think the household is my responsibility. After all, I've seen my mother do these things. I don't want my husband to do them. I feel strongly that it's my duty.
Being a traditional Japanese woman has never been easy for me. I am gaijin, only half Japanese. Here in the little temple town where I grew up, kids my own age used to laugh and point at me. My hair, blonde as it was, stuck out. And in Japan, there is a saying, a nail that sticks out is hammered down.
It was a lesson I learned early on. In school, the most important thing was to be part of the group. One teacher even suggested I dye my hair black to look like the other kids. We were punished for speaking out or being different. When I complained, my grandmother would say, "You are a girl. You must endure in silence." Going to college in the United States changed my perspective of what a woman should be. As a visitor to Japan, I saw things from a different perspective. Everywhere I looked, women were expected to serve men. Office ladies smiling and bowing. Hostesses serving whiskey and song. On the subway, I saw the men around me reading newspapers and comic books filled with porn. I walked by no panty coffee shops and sex clubs. Japan was really otoko no shakai, a man's world. But the fire of woman's fury was spreading to the inner sanctums of this man's world, and soon it would consume the most ancient pleasure palace, the flower and willow world of the geisha. The geisha, silent and mysterious, has always been the most traditional woman of all.
The most important thing is the geisha girl keep secret.
Kiharu Nakamura became a geisha when she was 16. She now lives in New York and resents the way her Western friends think of geishas as high-class whores.
I never loved man back all my life. That is another profession. But always, Hollywood makes like that. That one is the number one make misunderstanding for this country.
But the mystique of illicit love remains. Elegant, stylish, exquisitely feminine, geishas are trained from an early age to master the traditional Japanese arts. They are the ultimate entertainers, the perfect hostesses, the exclusive companions of rich and powerful men.
For centuries, this has been the ultimate male domain, a hidden world seen by few Japanese and even fewer Westerners. Everything that happens within these walls, whether it's business or pleasure, is ruled by a strict code of silence. But now the silence has been shattered.
Her name is Mitsuko Nakanishi, the geisha who kissed and told. But it wasn't just any story she told. It was a story of love and lust and secret rendezvous, told with the bitter edge of a woman's scorn. A story so private, so powerful, that it brought Japan's top samurai to his knees.
I am hurting so much. It's not as easy as people think. I cut my own flesh to grind Mr. Uno to the bone.
She was a tainted woman, an ex-housewife, an ex-office lady who became a geisha when she was 37. He was Sosuke Uno, the Prime Minister chosen to clear his party's tainted image after top officials were charged with taking payoffs. He was courted by leaders like Thatcher, Gorbachev, and Bush. Men in his position had always kept mistresses. Only the mistresses had always kept silent.
They thought I was crazy. Crazy girl.
Nakanishi says she and Uno were lovers in the fall of 1985. She was working at this geisha restaurant when he offered to pay her more than $2,000 a month to be his mistress.
She said that she was treated like just a sex machine.
Shintaro Torigoe is the journalist who broke Nakanishi's story in the Japanese press. It was the first time that a politician's private affair had become public scandal, and the media picked up every detail, from the hardcore videos they watched to the type of birth control they used.
She said that she was so insulted, and she felt his mother was so arrogant. Usually, all the time, he emphasized the money. Money. The money helped you.
I could never forgive him. There are people who say I was paid to speak up, or that another politician put me up to it. But the power inside of me overwhelmed those criticisms. I spoke out because I felt I must.
She is 100% prostitute. She is a prostitute, that's all. 37 years old, greasy, fat, middle-aged woman. How she can be geisha?
The scandal sparked a bitter debate that cut to the heart of Japanese society. Nakanishi had lit the fire, but Takako Doi carried the torch. The socialist leader urged women to vote in anger, and housewives, already angered by the national sales tax, flocked to the polls. When the votes were counted, Doi was beaming. The socialists had won by a landslide. The next day, Prime Minister Uno resigned in disgrace. Not only beaten, but beaten by a woman.
I take full responsibility, and I resign.
I asked Takako Doi about the role women played in her unprecedented win.
The women were very strong. I would even say that women's power was a key to this election. There had been a small movement before, but this was a big one. I say sometimes that I feel like the mountain moved.
And that movement was also shaking corporate Japan. I watched as dozens of angry women confronted company officials about a pornographic ad used to sell scotch.
One understands right away this is a raped woman. The expression on her face. We see her underwear in the mud. The mud is smeared all over her.
And women who have been raped look at this poster, and they remembered their experience all over again. Have you thought about that?
The next day, newspapers reported the company had decided to withdraw the ad. Flames were reaching higher, the voices of the women growing louder. The years of silence were changing into song. It was a song of freedom. Feminists were singing it. Teenagers were dancing to it. And intellectuals were saying Japan would never be the same.
I think it's quite impossible to suppress a power that have come to manifest itself. Women have awakened. Women have realized what they can achieve.
My generation, grandmother wear kimono, my mother wear kimono, I wear kimono, you know, and everybody knows, you know, generation to generation. Now suddenly cut, nobody wear kimono.
But change doesn't come easily, especially in Japan. Those who stand up are still hammered down. And even the geisha who toppled the Prime Minister told me she wished that she had stayed a simple housewife.
Yesterday, my heart broken, and today, my fight.
Denounced as a traitor, a liar, and a whore, she fled to the southernmost island in Japan, to an ancient fire ceremony that calls down spirits to cleanse the soul.
This is the Buddhist temple where Nakanishi came to purify herself after the scandal broke. It's called a kakekomidera, a temple where Japanese women traditionally escape to find refuge and spiritual peace.
In the old days, women ran to temples like this to escape their husbands. The men would chase them. If the women made it inside the temple gates, they were safe. If they were caught, they were dragged home in disgrace. Today, the fire ceremony priest still hears stories of abuse and neglect from women who come here from all over Japan.
Women have traditionally suffered in silence. They've always stayed home and been the hidden pillar holding up the household. Now they're beginning to change.
As I watched the fire ceremony unfold, I saw in the fire images from the Japan I once knew, and the figure of a woman, simple, selfless, and giving, disappearing into the flames. As the women of Japan edged closer to the fire, I hoped that they would not be burned. There's a postscript to this story. Just last week, the new Prime Minister's top aide resigned after it was revealed he had an affair with a bar hostess. He was replaced in the Japanese cabinet by a woman.
Coming up, 3 witnesses to the day that altered the world for all time.
I was 12 when Hitler came to power. As a matter of fact, I was full of enthusiasm for him.
Until now, dandruff shampoos have done one thing well.
It got rid of my dandruff.
It got rid of my dandruff.
It got rid of my dandruff.
But now there's a dandruff shampoo that does more. New Dandruff Control Pert Plus. Dandruff shampoo plus complete conditioner in one. So you get rid of flakes and condition your hair in one step. And that's big news.
My hair's in great condition. Oh, and it got rid of my dandruff.
New Dandruff Control Pert Plus. The biggest news in dandruff shampoo since dandruff shampoo.
I'm an old-fashioned guy. I'm amazed what people call cheeseburgers these days. A piece of meat and some cheese? Not like Wendy's big classic with cheese. A quarter pound of fresh beef, double cheese, double tomatoes, lots of everything on a big toasted Kaiser bun. My daughter Wendy said, Dad, it's like a major totally happening cheeseburger. That's exactly what I would have said.
Now, try Wendy's big classic with double cheese, double tomatoes, and lots of everything else.
When I look like this, my guys challenge me to lose 20 pounds.
Me, Tommy Lasorda, the guy who loves to eat. Well, I lost 30 pounds in 3 months with Ultra Slim Fast.
The plan was easy.
I have a delicious shake for breakfast, one for lunch, and then a healthy dinner, even pasta. And I don't feel hungry. The pounds drop off, and I feel great. You know, this is the first time I ever lost anything and felt good about it.
Ultra Slim Fast. Give us a week. We'll take off the weight.
Are your contacts getting so uncomfortable you feel like ditching them? Don't. Give them a bath in Optizyme weekly. It removes deposits other cleaners miss. Optizyme from Alcon. We can help you love your lenses.
Come on in to Sunrinse Fresh, like hanging your wash in the sunshine.
Come on in to Sunrinse Fresh. Light and sunny, downy feeling.
April Fresh and light Sunrinse Fresh.
Come on into the sunshine.
Sunday on Open House. $50,000 is missing. Who took it? Was it Ted?
Nice working with you, Ted. Maybe you can turn your prison cell into a timeshare.
Or was it Linda?
You seem a little nervous, Linda. Kind of like someone who's laundered money.
Impossible. I've never laundered anything in my life.
Find out Sunday on the viciously funny Open House.
To be the best, you have to do it better than anyone else. You've got to get it right. For 60 years, Payless Cashways Building Materials has built a business by taking on the competition and beating them. In quality, with brand names. Price, guaranteed the lowest. Selection, 7 acres of everything you need. And service for the do-it-yourselfer and the contractor. All guaranteed. Hey, Nashville, check us out. When it comes to building materials, go with the best. Get it right from Payless Cashways.
You should have stopped the gas. We got plenty of gas. I always thought E meant empty. Have faith, compadres.
It's time to keep it on the ride.
Now we're stopped. I don't know. That depends on how you look at it.
Those 3 musketeers.
Never run out of gas when I tried.
Kids, you can star with Hollywood Mickey. Details on specially marked packs.
This Labor Day weekend is a time for celebration, but it is also a time to remember. It was 50 years ago that Hitler's invasion of Poland touched off World War II. We have 3 eyewitnesses to that cataclysmic event, an act of political madness that changed the world forever. May 6th, 1945. This was the last day. The Russians pushed from the east. And the Americans, the British, all the United Allies pushed from the west. And then it was over. All over. It was a brand new spring, and the world decided to celebrate. And in our joy and relief, the memory of our losses began to dim. $40 million dead. 2/3 of the victims, civilians. We will not speak of the books never written, the paintings never painted, the discoveries never made, the children never born. Peter Peschel was young then, one of the first German soldiers to cross the border into Poland. He is the son of a staunch anti-Nazi who spent years in a concentration camp. He remembers the Germany of his youth.
I was 12 when Hitler came to power. As a matter of fact, I was full of enthusiasm for him. I turned round in 1935, 1936. The main root of this turning round process was that at my gymnasium there were many children out of Jewish and half-Jewish families, and they started disappearing.
In the early morning of September 1st, 1939, Joseph Lebetsky patrolled the border for Poland. Today, he's a retired executive living in Chicago. He recalls the unease of the late 30s.
The worry for us, Poles, started in 1938 when there was a question of this German demand on Czechoslovakia. That was the beginning of the worry for us.
Elie Wiesel is a writer and teacher, a survivor of Auschwitz and Buchenwald. He won the Nobel Prize for Peace in 1986. As a boy in Hungary, he felt the nearness of war.
You know, come from a home which was not very wealthy. And my interest was not topical affairs. I was extremely pious, and my life was the life of a religious boy. 3 times a day, my prayers, my studies. And to me, what Moses said 4,000 years ago was more important than what Hitler said in 1939. But somehow we needed a radio. And from that day on, I remember every evening we listened to the radio, mainly to London and Moscow.
I volunteered for the army because I wanted to become a journalist, and I saw that it was impossible under that regime. So I asked my father, where would I have the most freedom? And he said, son, join the army. That the only still healthy body within this criminal regime, and there you enjoy the most freedom Germany of today can offer you.
Early in 1938, Hitler annexed Austria. He then dismembered Czechoslovakia. Hitler now made territorial demands on a surrounded Poland, and after years of appeasement, Poland and the world said no.
Anxiety mounted. Even at my age, at 10, we felt that things were getting worse. Naturally, we didn't know what was going to happen. Nobody could have imagined, of course. The tragedy of our time is that the enemy had more imagination than his victims.
You know, being 19, there was mixed feelings. There was some element of curiosity as well. How would you react to the challenge of war? Would you act as a coward, or would you come out a hero, or something in between? There were many, many thoughts which went through our brains, and we discussed them in a low voice, because suddenly we had the feeling we were overheard by the enemy.
So we went all out, patrolled, and a couple of hours before the daybreak, we decided to dig a small trench to protect ourselves in case, but mainly for the purpose of observation, what's going on the other side.
It was quite a remarkable night. We were fearful, very sober, fearful of what war would mean, what it would mean to kill somebody and to be killed.
All of a sudden, a fire, a machine gun fire. We had a machine gun fire. No bullets, just a rattle from the other side, from the German pillboxes, which were situated on the outskirts of the German village. And then we heard the bullets whistling around. So we did not realize that we are the object of the fire.
Then the morning mist lifted. The sun was shining, it was very hot. The dust settled down, dust from the tanks and from the chains of the heavy cars we had. And then suddenly, after I think 20 kilometers or so, we met with the first opposition.
Of course, nobody could move, nobody could raise his head, and so on. One of the friends took a bayonet and stuck his helmet up. Immediately it was hit, and he looked at the helmet with a hole in it. Well, we were joking, of course, that now you're a hero. You see, you were hit and you're alive.
Polish cavalry attacked us tanks on horseback with lances and swords. It was really Middle Age attacking the 20th century. It was so pathetic. We stopped shooting. It was unbelievable that such a thing could happen in the 20th century. And then, unfortunately, we had to shoot, but most of them we captured.
During the extensive shelling, one of the shells buried itself and didn't explode immediately on the surface. And when it exploded, I was hit with a large fold of earth and buried by the earth. Shell shock. I was unconscious, so they pulled me out and put me on the, took me to the back, and finally I found myself evacuated.
There must have been a Polish soldier being killed in the middle of the road, and all tanks had rolled over him. So really, you could see like a ghost in a way, the human forms pressed into the tarmac. That was what was left of a human being. And this was very, very depressing in a way, and gave us food for thought.
And my father came into the kitchen that morning and said, the war has begun. And for a very long time, no one spoke. Then I went to Cheder, to school. And it was a day like any other day, studying, praying, speaking to friends. But somehow that silence of that morning remained with me all day, all week. We had a feeling that things will never be the same again.
I fought in Poland and later on in Russia and Normandy and whatnot. I asked myself, why do I do this? Why do I kill people who never did anything to me? And I think that the same all over during a war, that each young man on both sides asks himself the question, why do I do this? And yet he does it.
Never again a war. Nobody profits by war. Nobody. There might be situations that one nation has to defend itself, but a war has to defend its situation. But a war that should be prevented by all costs, by everybody.
Only if I remember, do I have a chance. If I don't, I have no chance. And what I think we should learn from our way of remembering is that whenever a group is attacked, all groups are affected. Whenever a nation is assaulted, we are all victims. And unless we remember that, there is no chance for any one of us.
Coming up, the words of a Central American strongman who could change the course of history.
The American government has brainwashed these young people and have sent them to Panama.
Cold filtered. Never heat pasteurized.
Miller Genuine Draft. For those who've discovered its smooth, real draft beer taste, the world is a very cool place. So tap into the cold. Cold filtered Miller Genuine Draft.
Nervous?
It's just a reunion.
Uh-huh.
It's no big deal. We were just good friends.
Right. So why the new dress?
Well...
And why this special antiperspirant?
Secret? Because it works.
Honey, it's strong enough for a man.
Uh-huh. But pH balanced for a woman.
Now, you are definitely a woman.
Ooh.
And you smell so...
Fresh. My secret spring breeze. Perfect for women with jealous husbands.
Jealous? Nah. But just wear this.
That's awful.
Exactly.
Secret Spring Breeze. Strong enough for a man.
But pH balanced for a woman.
Local dentist orders the same thing every day. Tuna on whole wheat, no mayo. Cutting back on cholesterol. Yesterday, I surprised him. Put out this new Kraft cholesterol-free. Doc, I say, welcome back to mayo. Is it good, he asks? Give it a try. He finishes his sandwich, orders another, tells me I have nice teeth. First time he's noticed in 8 years.
New Kraft cholesterol-free. Great taste, no cholesterol.
All douches are not alike. Only Summer's Eve disposable douche has this unique one-piece flexible design for comfort and these gentle cleansing formulas. Try the douche that's unique. Summer's Eve. It refreshes as it cleans.
Dentists warn the #1 dental problem isn't cavities, it isn't tartar, it's plaque. And most people just don't brush well enough to get enough plaque off their teeth. That's why there's Plaques, the dental rinse specifically designed to remove plaque.
Problem: cleaning up the Valdez oil spill. We'll show you some surprising solutions.
Scientists are using fertilizer to encourage bugs to eat oil spills.
Problem: impaired vision. Imagine a 20-second operation that will make glasses obsolete. Beyond Tomorrow, next.
The tiny country of Panama is gripped with invasion jitters tonight as the United States puts more heat on strongman General Manuel Noriega. I've just come back from Panama where I talked exclusively to Noriega, a strong man with a quiet voice who says that action will speak louder than words.
La fuerza de los Estados Unidos en Panamá le han lavado el cerebro.
The American government has brainwashed these young people and have sent them to Panama to fight in a war that does not exist.
Es peligroso. Es peligroso.
It's dangerous. It's dangerous because they can kill Panamanians.
Pero cuando tú avasallas,
but when you kill the people of a country, you are risking the possibility that dead bodies will be returned to your country. Never has an American been kidnapped, and never has an American been humiliated or assassinated unlike in Lebanon.
More of that intriguing interview next week, exclusive on The Reporters. And from all of us here, good night.
Hello again, it's me, Danny Gans from Open House, with all the information you need. So listen up. Be sure to watch Fox tomorrow night for the season premiere of Married with Children. The Bundys are having a special Labor Day barbecue, which means Al will be cooking up some of those mouth-watering Bundy burgers, huh? Ugh. I can almost taste them now. Beyond Tomorrow's next.